Hi guys, I've always been really weak at like 3 minute and 5 minute chess compared to my 10 minute game. But recently it's all the improvement I've seen in playing 10 minute chess is like filtered down to the 3 minute and 5 minute game. So a few weeks ago I was in like the 1290s at one point, like 1300 here, and now I've hit 1500. And I just want to talk about the last 5 games I played on this road to 1500 sort of thing in my blitz chess. And I just want to zoom out though, and just, this isn't me bragging, I'm trying to like give you guys encouragement. Like, look at this. I spent 3 months and had 0 improvement. I went down from the 10th of last year to the 1st. What's that? October to like January, February there. Yeah, nothing happened. So I always say improvement comes in waves, and just believe me, guys, whether you're at the top of a wave or the bottom, you know, I'm at the top right now and I'm going to consolidate down. But it's nice to be at the top for a little bit. But I'm trying not to let ego take hold at this high point. And I'm already telling myself, you know, you're going to come back down, just play the game sort of thing. But anyway, here's the 5 games that got me to 1500 in order. Now, this was a bit of a weird move. I pushed. Normally, when you get given a free pawn, if you push, it can make their development awkward. But in this case, I think they just develop quite naturally. But 3-minute chess, you know, I'm just playing moves. This just developing and defending is always a good idea. Taking for tempo, also a good idea. Less good is generally to like retreat. So the best thing you can do normally is develop and defend. So I'm talking about this situation here, this confrontation. Develop and defend, number 1 option. 2, take for tempo. And 3, I'd say retreat, only if you absolutely have to. So we're opening up this diagonal here. And this is a very common thing I do, which is line the queen and bishop up and try and take this pawn. And a lot of people just let you have it. They don't see it. They castle, and you can nab this pawn and get a very nice little advantage here. So they take the open file with the rook. Now, you pause the video, guys, if you want to spot the tactic here. They have a winning tactic if I fall for it here, involving the rook. So for those of you that just want to see, rook takes pawn is absolutely brutal. You need a lot of time. I just instantly capture back, and yeah, get that rammed down my throat. That looks nasty. So they didn't see that, luckily. Quite hard to see in a 3-minute game. But I actually really enjoy this structure here. It's a little bunker for my king, and I'm activating the rook on the open file. This square looking very weak for my queen to come and infiltrate. They throw in a check, attacking this pawn. They don't take it though. I think they're worried about, you know, my attacking chances. But after this, I think they could have been a little bit greedy there and grabbed that pawn. So I just defend it. A few inaccuracies here. I actually invite them to come here because I realize I'm going to get this little pivot with the queen, and I think this square here looks weak. So thinking about weak squares rather than just pieces, and I think maybe targeting here looks nice. So they take a rook, which gives me the open file for the rook, uncontended, and, you know, we're going to break through here, I think. We get the check, and here we're trying to threaten some sort of mate, but everything is covered. This would be mate, but the knight covers. I'm up enough material just to trade down, and eventually I do see the tactic. They push a pawn. When you push a pawn, guys, you weaken a square, all right? They've weakened this square here. And you see the fault, guys. Right. So that finished game number 1, and I'm thinking, I'm getting a bit excited. Like, can I make this push for 1500? So I get into this game in the Caro-Kann Advanced, which is where you can play this pawn break straight away if you like, but the traditional way is bishop out, then complete the structure, then go for the classic Caro pawn break. Now, against this, you commonly see grandmasters do this all the time, like h4, h5, If I allow them to take more space, it could be bad, especially this move here. If I just play a random move, I think this is pretty strong. I'm not sure. Let's see what the engine wants to say about that. Yeah, the engine loves it. It's just too much expansion for white. So I do this, which gives my bishop a cubbyhole, prevents this move here. They just develop. Now, I was a bit annoyed I played this because I'm moving the same piece twice. I should have just just developed. But I did quite enjoy the pin, but it's not a great pin because they can just get out of it. And hope you're all having a lovely day, by the way, guys. Really nice weather in the UK. It's like 28 tomorrow, I think. I'm off to the beach. So why is this so bad for me? They could have taken here. Because if takes... Let's have a look at this line. I don't get it. Why is this so bad for me? Can I not defend my rook? What do I do? Okay. That just cracks. So that's a weird sacrifice there, the engine's suggesting. This to just crack everything open because they get this pawn. So it's a knight for 2 pawns, but it's a fracturing of my king side. So look out for chances like that. They don't see it, and I get this double tempo. I develop, hit the queen, develop, and again hitting the queen, and that almost just ends the game right there. Especially when they invite me to develop a 3rd time in a row with tempo. Kicking the queen away from the defense. The only way the queen can defend the knight is here. 2 attackers on the knight, 2 defenders. They can't go here because knight takes, so they have to, like the engine's saying, sack the queen. They have to stop defending the knight, and I crack through here. And I just set up this mate threat. The only way they can defend it is here. They resigned, luckily, but I was a bit worried. What if they do this, you know? But I think you can just like slide back, maintain the threat, and then slowly, or embed the rook in, even better. Because then if the queen moves, you've got this mate. But it was interesting to see, like, if white just plays not like random moves, this is how you win it. You just bring another attacker and you just and get mate like that. So this game was a little blip, okay, guys, in the middle of my stupendous climb to 1500. I totally messed this game up. I really like what the engine says here. You can develop, defend, and attack all at the same time. What do? I get rid of this pin. I dissipate all tension in the position. Yeah, not happy with that. I bring a rook though, so this pawn, even if it pushes, it's no real threat because it's pinned. I was a bit worried about this push. And it's saying I can take here because if takes, I get the queen. They damage their structure. They're going to recapture. So it's just nabbing a little pawn there. But I missed that tactic. And then I just grab their bishop. Hit their rook. But after I hit their rook, they just sort of, they wanted to move there anyway because it supports this. Playing off the pin. So this move here didn't really do anything long term. The rook helps the pawn attack the pinned piece. A classic way in which games are just lost. One of the most common ways people lose, I think. And as we can see, guys, what's going to happen here? They've got a pinned piece. They're going to attack it. Pawn up, h6. Destroys me. Okay, so that was the little blip, but from then on, it went pretty well. I played this Jeff Bezos guy, which really motivated me to destroy him. And we got this. They defend the center. I defend my center. Opening up the bishop here. You know, they hit my bishop, I slide back. They've got this pin. I just attack their bishop here. And then again. So why is this good for me to attack them and not them to attack me? Well, they've got a castled king. So I'm flexible here. So I've got the option. I can either castle and play it slow, but I know where their king is. So I can use this bishop as a hook into their position, right? Bang, bang. And this pawn and this knight also acts as a hook to just crack into their king side. So I go for it. I just bring this because if they take, it develops my queen. And then they hang the game here because they literally hang the queen. I just did have to check, is there a mate? You know, have they got some sort of mate threat? But I didn't see it, so I just took the queen and it was over. So final game. This is the game that got me to 1500, guys. Hope you're enjoying. And I just come out. They take, I take, and they get an open file for the rook. Now, this move just allowed me to like solidify the extra pawn that I've got. I was very happy with that. I didn't like taking and giving myself sort of doubled pawns and then winning this pawn. So I just slid back if takes, takes. And they lock the structure. Now, normally, this is something to remember, guys, right? The side with more space wants to lock the structure down and slowly twist the knife into the other side who are suffocating from the lack of space. So conversely, the side with no space probably wants to open things up and try and allow themselves to breathe. But black here, you know, locks the structure in, so it locks these 3 pawns in for me. To be fair, they do have this pawn break maybe in the future, so. And yeah, the engine's recommending that. They've got to somehow take some space. They're a little bit stifled. I just go here, maybe it's not very strong. It's not really a pin, but I don't know. Activating the bishop maybe. And now I was very tempted to take en passant. Very tempted, but I reached into my inner core, meditated for a second, and refuted the classic temptation to flex my knowledge of the en passant. And because it just opens up their whole position, you know? It opens up the queen. It would have been, like, really bad, I think, to take that way. I want to see what the engine says about it. It's saying it's good as well. But it also said this was best. So maybe anything's fine. But yeah, I wouldn't like to come activate all their pieces. So I could have just taken this, but in my head I was thinking, suffocate them. Yeah, I've got the space advantage. Let's just lock it down, and then we can just push the king here, bring the rooks to this side of the board, and play there. And I knew that this side, nothing was going to happen. And if it was going to happen, it would be on my terms. It would be this pawn push here in the late game. So now I just come and I start mining into their position. And the engine's saying to just trade down because eventually, even in the end game, the king, I think, is going to be pretty strong. I just take that pawn there. And how do we win this position, guys? Let me know in the comments what your expectations are. How do you win this position? I'll give you a couple of seconds to write your comment. But yeah, it's these 2 pawns here. So these 2 are coming storming down the board. And there we go. They had to go all the way back. But even then, you know, this was brutal. So that's how I got to 1500, guys. I hope there's a few instructive moments in the games. But my main point was just like, you will have phases of no growth in terms of growth. If we're saying ELO is your growth, it's not. It's deep within, guys, and it'll sort of come in waves, and yeah, you will be rewarded long term. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Cheers.